Buddy the dog. What are you doing, pal? He probably likes it today because it's cold and windy, and he's wearing a fur coat all year. But we're on a treasure hunt today because I won something on auction time again. So I think the easiest way to go about this is using this trailer, which has my water tank on it. But I'm going to go ahead and just flip that over the edge, and I think the thing that I'm getting will fit on here fine. And then from there, we should be good to go. But yeah, we're gonna get started right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. We need to put this here hitch in. I had this trailer hooked to the tractor to take some water where it needed to go. Maybe a guy can put this in the truck. I don't know. It is miserable, friends, out here. Definitely, I would say winter is coming. Once again, everybody else has plans for me today, so I'm gonna have to try to squeeze in my operation here I want to do right quick, because yeah, I think tonight it's supposed to get down to 11 degrees in the worst places. I don't know, I would rather not have that, but that's the way she goes. I think this'll, well, if a guy would have not backed up too far, this would have been great. Come on, trailer. Come on, get on there. There we go. You don't need a jack. I'm not even gonna unload that water tank, because I'm pretty sure the thing I'm getting will fit on there. We could put it in the front, and then I don't even have to fool with unloading. It can just come along for the ride. But we needed more stuff to sit out in our field of treasure, so Auction Time provided that. Yesterday, Craig and Moline Dan provided some of that stuff to come out, and we might do a walk around and look over at some of that closer, because we didn't do that yet. But it's miserably cold and windy, so we'll see what happens. But we need to go get this thing, because I actually won last week on the auction, but I just haven't had time to go get it. So we're gonna make this happen. Friends, the trip keeps getting worse the longer we go. Now there's little ice pellets hitting the windshield. I guess winter is coming. Hopefully it'll knock this off long enough while we load the treasure, so we're not you know, having to deal with all this misery. But we'll just have to see. We're a good ways away yet. I took a little swing detour here to check out that 1650 we worked on. He put on a new alternator, so I wanted to make sure it was doing the thing, and it's working great. So yeah, I will bring you back whenever we get where we need to go here. I probably should have went a different way here, but all the roads go everywhere you need them to go. You just gotta take a little detour here and there. So sure. Well, we're almost there, and I've almost died like 5 times. People's driving anymore is getting ridiculous. There's a guy behind me that's practically pushing, and I just about got hit head on coming over a bridge because that guy was on the wrong side of the road. So foolish me thinking that a Sunday afternoon would be a handy time to go get this, because there wouldn't be much traffic. So yeah, hopefully we can get there in one piece, and hopefully we lose some of these idiots along the way. Well, we're right up here, but unfortunately it's still a miserable time. What a treasure. We're gonna turn around so that the tongue side is sticking off to the ditch, you know what I mean? Like I told him, I have had I'm taking in all the future treasures that might have to be bought. All my trailers are full, so I had to do this away and just do the thing. There's something for Moline Dan. A Moline manure spreader. I wonder if that's really a Minneapolis Moline or if that is like a Moline, like early John Deere Moline. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We're all loaded and headed back home. The tongue is only sticking over probably a foot, so that ain't bad. And it's probably less than that past the fender, so I think we'll make it fine. Just got to be mindful of that a little bit, and we don't take out a mailbox or something that's close. It should still miss every mailbox if they follow the rules of how to put out a mailbox, but and like he said, we'd like to stand and talk and visit, but today's not the day for it. The weather, this is miserable, and it was not, it feels like it's getting colder, which would make sense, because if it's gonna get down to, you know, the teens tonight, then it's gonna have to drop off a lot more than it is, so. Sure, we're gonna try to get home, and then we'll go from there. All right, friends, look at this terrible stuff. The devil's dandruff all over the place. Just a couple days later since Moline Dan was here, and now we got his weather, so yeah. Buddy the dog's living his best life out there, playing in the snow, sure. Well, we might as well look over some of these treasures that we've acquired and see why, or what, or when, or how, whatever, all the questions. So this little thing was on an auction my friend the auctioneer had, and I'm just looking over. I got a hitch pin and some other pins. I don't really know if those were really meant for like hitch adjustment. Oh, they're frozen to there now. Okay, so they're gonna stay there. But there was he does AUCTIONtime auctions, and there was this and a WD 45 Alice Chalmers, and I bid on the tractor, but it quickly went more than I thought that was worth for a tractor that we didn't know, you know, if it was, I didn't know. It was sold as non-running, so I didn't take a gamble on it. But I did take a gamble on this because it was only a couple $100, and I've kind of always wanted one of these for the older tractors that are smaller, you know, like I'm thinking Super 66 here could do some bush hogging, because you don't need hydraulics. All you need is your hand crank and go to town. You could do hydraulics, but you don't have to. So that's what I was thinking with this, and it may turn out to be a total pile of garbage, but for no more than I got in it, it is actually a bush hog brand. So you know, I've seen them for years and never been able to get one. A 205, I think. So we'll see what happens, but I think it's worth what I paid for it. And maybe we can take it out and like knock down some of these taller weeds in, you know. If we're not cutting 4-inch thick trees every day, I think a Super 66 will do it. Or a 66, or even a 550 or Super 55. B John Deere, all those kind of old tractors, I think would do the thing with that. So that was the most recent thing. Now the other things that came on the day when we had Moline Dan here I don't know if we should start an order of the way I bought them or just go in reverse order. Let's go in reverse order because that's what we're doing. We started with the most recent. The next most recent was this, which Craig from Ohio texted me the other day and said, hey, there's a neighbor selling some stuff, and he said, I see that he's got a little Fiat out there, and he said they're parting it out. So he said, are you interested? And I said, well, yeah. I said, go find out about it. So he talked to the guy, and at the time we made the deal, the tractor was up on 4 wheels and complete except for the sheet metal. Like, they took the hood off and that. And by the time Craig got back over there, this is how he found it. Supposedly, like, some relative took the wheels off and sold them, and then, I don't know, he took the radiator. He obviously stripped all the wiring harness off because he thought that was going to make him $2 more for cocaine or whatever he's doing. So sure. And it was supposedly, the story to start with was that it was running tractor, and then it started running bad. Something in the motor, they thought, like on the top end, let loose. You know, it even had 3-point and all that was on it the other day, and now it's all gone. So sure. So I don't know what the story is we're gonna find. I tried to turn it over in that video when Molly and Dan was here, when it was still on the trailer, and I couldn't do it, but it might have been in gear when I did that. I looked back at the footage and I thought, hey, I was trying to turn it while it was in gear. I guess we could do it now, but it's freezing cold. So I don't know, it might turn. There might be some other issues, but we're going to definitely try will it run on it at some point, because I have got all the pieces to build a tractor if this turns out to be, you know, everything that's wrong with this potentially I would have, and it won't cost me much in, you know, if it was just a broken rocker arm or something, we could probably make her go. But if it's something severe like block of sadness, then probably not. But at any rate, I got enough stuff to make this complete again, between the junkyard and that other parts tractor I got, and then this one. So that'll be a future something or other at some point. So he did find a pair of combine tires or something to bring along with it. So when we do the will it run, we might first pick it up and bolt tires to it. But I got news for you, friends. It ain't going to be while the snow's flying. It's supposed to be in the 60s at the end of the week, so maybe we'll tackle it then. But we got plenty of other stuff to do anyway, so it doesn't look too bad, really, as far as if you ignore all the things that are bad. But we'll probably take the valve cover off and see, you know, what kind of sadness awaits us there. But it's supposedly the oil looked good. I don't know, or it still looks like engine oil, so you never know. It might be good, it might not be, but we shall see. See the bovines, they hear my voice, so they're coming this way, sure. All right, so here we have a 5-bottom plow. Why do you need a 5-bottom plow, you ask? Well, I don't, but I do at the same time. Because, yes, friends, this is a 575 plow, and the reason that it attracted me was because A, the price was super cheap, I thought, and B, this is a hydraulic reset plow, which you absolutely don't see down here in this neck of the woods. So if I come rolling into the fair with this, why, that's something people haven't seen before in these parts. So that's pretty cool. And they used it at a plow day just a year or so ago. It needs a lot of iron work there. A lot of your shins are not very good. Land sides are almost non-existent. They've had some doctoring done to them to get them through. But as far as the hydraulic part, I know nothing about how that works really. I'll have to read up on that again to see. But I know you can kind of charge it using hydraulic pressure, and then you use that's supposedly like a bladder thing in there that's got pressurized gas in one end, and you can do whatever. So we'll figure that all out when the time comes. But I mean, there's a new hose on there, so that tells me that it obviously kind of worked and somebody loved it enough to do that. Sorry, can't hardly talk, choking up here. but it tells me that somebody, you know, tried to keep it going. So there's a potential chance that this is going to go, you know. So we're slowly making we're slowly kind of forcing ourselves into the fact that we should probably do some plowing one of these days for fun, because we got all these plows to play with. And yeah, so that's that. Now, another thing that I notice about this is that, other than that spring is broke, we have two different styles of coulters on here, and that's okay, because I have some others, and I have some on one plow that I don't think are right, and I'm wondering if these two are like the ones that I need, in which case I could flippity-flop them around, and I could potentially have two that are then correct the way they're supposed to be. So I got to look at that a little closer and see what's what. That coulter arm's been breasted and welded, and sad things have happened. And chains, I guess the chains, they're trying to limit the travel, because I bet that cast thing is broken there that stops it from, I don't know, they're pretty sloppy there, friends, but that's a different style there. Oh, that is I like that bracketry there. That's interesting. But I'm sure we'll find stuff like that that needs attention, and we'll do the thing, you know. We can make it good enough to play with. So nothing's froze up. That's a plus. And like I said, it's cool because I have never seen one in person. They just don't exist down here. So I like having things that I don't have. So that's cool. Now, if I could just find me a spring reset plow, I would have all the different styles of things you could have had for tripping. Actually, I would probably need a what do you call it? A shear pin style, because I don't think I have one of those either. Everything I have is cushion trip. Down here, that was the thing. Cushion trip was all you needed. Hit a rock, trip it back up, go again, and that's it. But if you were up in the rock country, you needed something like this, so you didn't have to stop all day long and back up. You can just soldier on. So, sure. So, I guess we should probably do some inventory of the other stuff we got, like the parts. I see my uncle brought me some pallets. He said something about it the other day. I didn't realize he already did that. So, we've got pallets to use for things now, because I was short on those. We start out with this wheel, which it was super cheap. It was like $5 or $10, I think. I'm not going to pass up on a wheel for $5 or $10. The only regret I have is I wish I had had the mate to it. I don't have the mate to it, and this is a 38-inch rear center for a 55 series tractor, and I would love to have another one so I could change that 1955 over to 38-inch rear wheels. So I don't know, maybe somewhere out there in Magic Land a guy could find another set of these things. You know what I'm saying. Another thing I wanted to check, just for curiosity's sake, I gotta look at that video where I went to work on that 1750, because I was wondering if these centers are the same centers they used for the spin outs, and you could all you had to do is change instead of the blocks, you put the locks on for the rails to ride in. So I don't know, that's interesting. I couldn't really find any conclusive evidence in the parts book of that, but this one looks like it's a 166 217A. So that'll be some interesting, just to file away in your brain for previous knowledge or things to know. So anyway, tire. All right. Another thing, if it wasn't clear on that video when they were here, Brad, who is the guy that came with Moline Dan, he handed me a couple of lug bolts for a 1450, and that is awesome because I need those. I've been missing two and I haven't had any luck finding them, so today's the day I finally got some. So that was awesome. So thank you to Brad. Now we have random piles of stuff, and now it's getting covered with snow, but that's life. So I'm still trying to put away junkyard parts, and now I bought more parts. So there's parts, friends. I just cleaned off this baler. It was covered with parts from the junkyard, and now it's full of stuff again. But basically, there was an auction yard that's right by Moline Dan, and he sent me some pictures and said, hey, there's Oliver parts on these auctions. And they weren't bringing a whole lot. There was a lot more stuff. I bid on everything, but then I kind of just picked and chose what I thought I really couldn't live with that. If it was a super cheap deal, I went with it. Or if it was something that I thought I needed right now. But basically what you're seeing is everything was a super cheap deal. So we have some 55 series side plates here. We have a battery cover for like an 1800A and a floorboard. There was a lot of sheet metal on these auctions. This is a drawbar, I think, from a 1650. And then here's just a generic little farm store drawbar. This was kind of a Hail Mary thing that I just thought, hey, it ain't bringing much, and I like these. Washing machine engine, a Model 92 Maytag. It's got compression. I figured it was a boat anchor when I bought it because it only brought like 20 bucks or something. We got the K691A pulley for like a fleet line or what have you. 77s, 88, 66. Super 77, Super 88, but not the Super 66. It took a different one. Let's see, that's all still from the junkyard. I got this top link, which I thought looked like it was decent-ish. It's missing the ring to pull on, and I'm not saying that that's not stuck. It does have remnants of a ball, which is good because these are getting impossible to find. The ball that fits in this style top link, unfortunately, is usually nowhere to be had. So we got one there that would work, and we got a top link that would work in something. So that does us there. This battery tray was part of it. It's off of like a 1955. So that's the stuff like that I didn't really want, but it was in a lot with other stuff. And you got to buy it so it doesn't get scrapped, is what the moral of the story is. Just like all this junkyard stuff I bought, because they ain't making any more. Here's more 55 series sheet metal, some hoods and stuff. Probably won't use those for a while, but you know, we'll file them away and we will use them eventually, maybe on something. Or it's just, that's good stuff to stack in the corner for, you never know when you might need it for something. So we got all that. So that was a pretty good haul, I think, for no more than I got in it. Like I said, I'm still putting away junkyard stuff. It pains me that so much stuff sits outside so long, but it was outside in the junkyard. So while I'm slowly getting it sorted into places and putting it away, it has to sit out here. But like here, friends, is a complete set of sheet metal for $13.65. So if that other one proves to be worthy of life, then all we got to do is slap this sheet metal on it and we're good to go. Like I said, shouldn't have been in the dirt, but it was in the dirt in the junkyard, so freak out not. I mean, that's the way it is. But that can go with that tractor, because even my other parts tractor didn't have a full set of sheet metal. So we have it. We have everything we need for that other tractor, I'm confident, no matter what befalls us. But at any rate, yeah. Anywho's, that's where we are. I guess we will probably leave this video here in the same spot we left the last video. I can still kind of smell Moline Dan right here. No, not really. But at any rate, we will leave this video here. It was a fun visit, and we got a lot more stuff to play with. We got a lot of stuff to play with. We just need time to play with it. So that should hopefully be happening sometime soon in our lives, where we can do the things, friends, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, that worked out pretty good. Moline Dan said he likes road trips, so he was willing to bring that plow to me when I bought it, and then all that other stuff that he told me was for sale. So it worked out, you know. And they also brought me food, which is always a good thing. So, you know, can't be mad about that. So, but anywho's, let's leave this one here while we're still having success, even though it's snowing. But other than that, it's a good day. So as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. After watching what you just saw, do you feel like your IQ has dropped lower than your credit score? Well, there's no reason that both of us should be miserable, so go ahead and hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. That stuff costs you nothing, and it really helps me out. Your banker may not approve, but I know mine will. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.